Hey guys, kweli Mungu alalangi. Now, the High Court have overturned the ruling ya kwamba Kenya Kwanza is the majority. True, whereby Azimio is the one which supposed to be majority because most of the MP walikuwa wameshift kusaidia Kenya Kwanza to be majority, but the fact is Azimio is the one which is majority in parliament. Woi, Ichungwah, Mungu kwanza amejibu hiyo ya Ichungwah. Hiyo tu tulikuwa tunataka tu atuondokee na Mungu amejibu. Ichungwah, now you are what? Minority. Mungu alalangi. Sawa, sasa tusikie ukiongea venye unaongea na kiburi, ukitutukana huku. Acha tusikie. Now, let's see.
My people, Kimani Ichungwah. Someone to check on Kimani Ichungwah. Najua temperature yake saa iko uko juu. Sijui kama itashuka leo. Who are the majority leaders? Who are the majority leaders? Azimio coalition imefanya nini? Wacheni niwaambie, each and every dog has got its own day. And Kimani Ichungwah, here is your day. Yeah, here is where you are supposed to be. Wacha Junet akae hapo. Yani hii mdomo hii ungekata kidogo. Ungekaa mahali fulani. Yani hata uyuko kwa sako. Kimani Ichungwah. Huko juu hakuna kujipendekeza sana. Ungekuwa tu mpole kama wengine. Yes. Anyway. Aluta. Thank you very important.
Wewe unasikia leo sasa, Wetangula yako kwa mangori ni aje, na ngori yake ya kwanza ni ati koti inamwambia hakuna vile anaweza endelea kukuwa speaker na at the same time bado yeye ni leader wa Ford Kenya. Unajua inakuanga chama yake. So inamwambia that the moment yenye alikuwa speaker ndio aliachanga kukuanga head wa Ford Kenya, but sawa chani hiyo part so important. Usikii sasa bado koti inasemaje that kumbe Ubazenga bila aliingianga kuwa speaker October date 6 2022 alirulingi that Kenya Kwanza ni wengi kuliko watu wa Azimio, ama si unajua alirulingi that Kenya Kwanza ndio majority. Na unajua time bana ile tanga mangori hiyo story iliendanga 2023 sasa kuna watu 10 wenye kulingana vile wanajiita ati ID card holders, yani ni mtu kama mimi na wewe, na niko zile za hapana, lakini sawa chane hiyo part. Sasa wakiendanga kwa koti wakaambianga koti that Mose ipali hivyo deciding kidogo ni kama alivunja sheria akusema wale ni wengi. Sasa hiyo kesi imekuanga on and off. November Wetangula akaandikianga koti akawaambia that kulikuwa na vitu kama post election agreement, lakini sasa yeye hakuprovidingi hizo ma evidence sasa. Na sasa vile tunabonga speaker alikuwa anasema that mtu kama Wetangula hakuna vile anawezaekea political parties ngori kusema ati au ndio wenye walifaa kuprovide vitu kama hizo wakati yeye ndio mwenye anafaa kuwa nazo. Na sasa hiyo story sasa kutoka saa hizi kuendelea mbele ati sasa Azimio ndio watu wengi. Sasa ati vile tunabonga saa hizi ati Kimani Ichungwah penye yako saa hizi ati yes sio majority leader, na unasikia sasa ati ama wakili hawa nini bunge kwa na mawakili wenye wana represent kwa hiyo high court ati wanasema ati hiyo decision yenye court imemake ati wamedi kidogo waendelee nayo for the next kama 45 days hivi ndio kusikue na mangori pale hivyo kwa bunge, like bunge itakuwa inaraniwaje na vitu kama hizo. Na sasa pia swali linaona watu wakiri sana ni does that mean that from the word go that hii bunge imekuanga illegitimate, like vitu zenye wamekuanga wakifanya hakuna hata moja yenye watu wanaweza angalia hivi ipite. Na ile yenye kitu yenye watu wanarisi sana ni hii mambo ya Gachagua. So unajua Gachagua hii bunge tu ndio ilimchuja, waliendanga wakasema Ubazenga ni mcorrupt, ni macharges kibao hapo hivyo 11. Gachagua anasema ngani fabricated, ndio maana mpaka leo anakuanga na kesi kwa koti. Na sijui sasa kama hizo koti zitawahi kujazi overturn hiyo decision ya kusema ati juu hii koti yenyewe labda at some point ilikuwa illegitimate, ama labda koti decision yake watamwambia that whether ni majority ama minority, like votes zilipigwa na votes zingepigwa hata ingekuwa Wetangula hakukosea, so wewe ingeingia maeria kwako side za Munyoro. Najua sasa penye Gachagua ako kwa Taylor zile za Shona mzuri. Sasa ni kuzoza. Kalonzo naye sana najua. Sasa tunacheki bana, the more tunaendelea hivi the more mambo inaendeleanga ikichemka. Tukingojanga Gachagua tupatie chama Sunday. Na Sunday kuna mastori naona ati the same day Gachagua anafaa tupatie chama na naona ati bado Ruto na Kindiki wanafaa kuingia Mathera na huko hivyo Karatina. Sijui hiyo story iko aje, but nimesikia fununu kama hizo.
So High Court imeruled that Speaker Wetangula aliviolate constitution wakati alideclare Kenya Kwanza to be the majority in national constitution in 2022. So because of lack of evidence, wako provide enough evidence to show that Kenya Kwanza, they're the majority party. So the court ikaruled that Azimio la Umoja, they're the rightful majority party. So inamaanisha nini? Kimeumana. Inamaanisha Kimani Ichungwah is no longer the majority leader in National Assembly. Na sasa Kimani Ichungwah sasa ataanza kufanya nini? Imeenda like serious. 1 minute unamka uko na job, the next minute hauna job. Imeenda tu hivi. Mwenyake amekuwa misbehave, amekuwa like kapapika Ruto, good boy, but sasa ame lose job just like that. Sasa as for now Kimani Ichungwah ni kama ako jobless somehow. Hivyo tu just like that ndivyo ame lose job yake. Kwa sababu Wetangula alikuwa amefanya vituko hivi kona, but finally truth imejulikana.
Hata unajua umaraya ni nini? Sasa kwa siasa umaraya ni hiyo, kuhamahama, kuhamisha kila kitu usiku na mchana. Kwani nini ingine? Na hiyo ndio shida. Even now, even as we are talking about coalition after the messy situation that we are in, you can still see that political prostitution becoming part of our culture in our politics, and it's not a good thing. We need people who have integrity in the way they do things, privately and publicly. Yes.
Tondu thirikari ino ya kaungo ndiratarwo ni mundu ndari na PhD ri urahingura kanua korio kana wewe na PhD riu giti kia majority leader ni giathie guo. Kimani we Ichung'wah we niwe wari raini ya mbere, niwe waragia muno ya ku impeach deputy president, na riu igoti ni riarikia kuamua UDA is not the majority in the National Assembly. Ni ODM. Riu mwathurwo mokire mukigura ciama kugura. Riu igoti ni ria revert uhoro ucio wothe. Na ni undu umwe ndicua naguo ni ati Ruto ni arikitie nawe, na riu ni gukuthira riu ni kuria arakurira rungu gundu kaugage ni akurire kana onage direct ni we wakurire. Otherwise maundu maya mothe ni maundu Ruto ena capability ya ku revert. Riu ri tondu ni ndie na PhD ri kengire.
I want to show you how Kenyans are tired with this regime. Majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah, you are in UK, and Kenyans in UK knows that uko London. Wengine wanasema, does anyone know where this clone is tuandamane huko? Wengine wanasema hapa, we are going to pressurize the UK government not to allow these idiots to visit here again. Ako wapi tuandamane? These are message from Kenyans in UK, our WhatsApp group. Yani Kenyans are so tired with this regime, mpaka hawataki kuona any leader of this regime. Kimani Ichung'wah is not just anybody. He is majority leader in parliament. But for the first time, parliament of Kenya imekuwa a rubber stamp. Kimani Ichung'wah will go down as the most useless majority leader. Parliament should be an independent institution that checks the powers of the executive. But Kimani Ichung'wah amereduce ikakuwa parliament mzima kazi yake ni kuraba stamp what Ruto has told them to do. That's why even the other day you saw the newly appointed CSs akina Bandi sijui na this guy from KRA Nderito Mureithi going to bunge la mwananchi to talk there. Yani leaders are feeling going to bunge la mwananchi, Kenyans will listen to what is being said than even going to parliament. I don't think there are any Kenyans right now who watch proceedings in parliament. I don't think there is anyone who watches the proceeding in parliament because of this leadership of Kimani Ichung'wah. Sasa ameshikana na akina Junet. They have made parliament look so useless. Yeah? Hakuna laws, hakuna checks wanafanya. It is just there to rubber stamp what Ruto has told them to do. Hao ndio walifanya all these youths wakakufa during the Gen Z movement. Had they listened to people people had told them about this finance bill, hatungekuwa na ile maafa Gen Z walikufa. Then after Ruto cancel finance bill like idiots, wakaanza kuongesha mguu chini atu wamefurahia. Haa ndio walikuwa wanaambia watu sijui mambo na Adani. When Ruto cancel the same Adani, wanaanza kuongesha miguu chini. What is wrong with you people? We want the respect that the parliament had irudishwe. Yeah? It is so shameful that leaders in Kenya are going to other countries, and instead of the Kenyans who are in other countries to feel that their leaders have come to check on them, instead ya ile kitambo watu walikuwa wanafurahia that a certain leader has gone in a foreign country, wanaenda wanakuwa na dinner, saa hii wanauliza where is that clone to andamane tumfukuze. That is a shame that you people have brought to this country. Look now at the president. Mwaka imeanza January yote musangarire uko Western. Yeah? Tuko February ako Northeastern. Campaign in his second year. Campaign tupu. There's nothing else this guy does. Na ukiangalia what is happening in our economy, kama ni StockX unasikia imekufa. Yani kama ni housing, the same thing, imekufa. But the guy tu ako juu ya gari. Nothing can change that person. We don't hate him. But that is the... My friend, we are telling you for free. If you don't remove this all nonsense by 2027, my friend, you think we hate these people, my friend, wait for the poverty levels in this country. Mtaniambia.
So last week, leader of majority, Kimani Ichungwah, went on an ethnocentric rant. He went on an ethnic tirade, targeting one community and abusing parliamentary privilege. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew he was provoking the opposing side. He knew that's the reaction he wanted, because these are the things that score the marks in when they are going in there behind closed doors in those boardrooms. These are the small issues which they were elected on, and the more that a political deal is approaching, the more that pressure is coming from all over to meet mediators, the more exaggerated that the rants will be. But one thing I'm very happy because of this, because they say every cloud has a silver lining. Previously, and which is why I'm saying we have made so much gains, within the last 8 to 10, 12 months. We have gained so much as regards to civic education. Previously, you would have misconstrued, or those statements would have been somehow promoted as aligned with the general mood and feeling of the Mount Kenya region. But as years progress, especially this regime in particular, the leaders and their self-serving nature has that has come out prominently, and you have then seen that we don't have enemies amongst our communities. We are all united against our politicians, our elites, the ones who go and especially the importers. They are the ones who go and bend the laws, or they influence the policy shifts so as to suppress domestic production and leave them in business. So all of that has become very clear within the last couple of months, and that is progress. I say, you take home, the wins. We don't have to look at our stature as human beings and our intercommunal relations. We don't have to view it through the lenses of the politicians and now their struggle. And every day the media is promoting, these politicians, they are yet to strike a deal. Every time is always like a manufactured tension. They create all this suspense. The media are doing their work, however toxic it may be. But for me, I choose to look through the gains. And now it's becoming clear that these people are serving their own selfish agenda. They're not serving their people. So we shouldn't, in a last 5 years, 10 years ago, when Kimani Ichungwah said that, then people of Mount Kenya would have been bribed to come out and protest and say, oh, we are standing with Kimani Ichungwah. Politicians across the region would have been there saying, but now you won't see any of that. If you see, those are, and then the media is there. They've been bribed to promote that. So the media also has played a role in sowing the seed of negative ethnicity. And they do that to shield the politicians who, when they are eating, when it's time to increase their salaries, their allowances, that one is bipartisan. They sit down and say, now these are the taxes, let's now start chopping them. This is the mindset that we are trying to wean ourselves out of and approach an era of prosperity, and we can only do it with not falling for politicians' theatrics and the media antics, and now being focused on who is the enemy. Yeah, so over the the weekend we saw our intellectuals, they were fighting. We saw Miguna and Ekuru Okot, they were on a Twitter war. They had a tweet, and it was a lot. You know, this one is accusing this one that you forged your papers at Kenya School of Law. This other one says, I taught you at Kenya School of Law. This other one said, you are not part of the struggle for liberation in the country. The other one says, no. I don't know what is happening, because once they start cannibalizing each other, it must be a sign of something. Once the big people, ideally, they are supposed to sit down and map the future of the country, to talk about where we went wrong as a country, how we are moving forward, who is responsible, issues about neo-colonialism, selling out to Western agenda, who want to just steal and appropriate our resources for their gain at the expense of our populations. I think those are the conversations which are dominating the social media landscape. But now I don't know what's happening. Yesterday also on the Sunday Nation, Professor Indangasi of University of Nairobi wrote a long epistle, a whole page. He was given a whole page to, can we say, malign, impugn Professor Michere Mogo. But you know, we are readers. We read all this stuff. The headline was Indangasi. Michere Mogo was not a deep thinker. You know, she passed away last month at the age of 80. But now he started talking about issues in the 70s, and I was very, these are details which were never in the public domain, so it's not bad to know that they were seated in the 1970s. I don't know, 78, I don't know, Robert Mugabe came to Kenya. He was clamoring for independence of Zimbabwe. They came, and then afterwards he asked to meet the liberal professors of the University of Nairobi. And then now they sat across a table at Intercontinental Hotel, and then now they were having a conversation. It was a Q&A, and then Mugabe, out of nowhere, he says, I want to sit next to that beautiful lady. Can she come next to me? And then she goes there, and then she sits with him, and then it's crazy. And then apparently they started having an affair, and so, you know, Michere Mogo was masquerading as this dissident who left the country due to the bad policies of Daniel Arap Moi. You know him, the dictator who ruled the country, led it to its deathbed with Kamlesh Patni and other leaders. So there was some very important details there, that she is a sister-in-law to Jeremiah Kereine. Jeremiah Kereine at the time was serving as a chief secretary of Moi. Chief secretary of Moi. Jeremiah Kereine later went to become the chairman of EABL. He's the one who oversaw the sale of a majority stake from Kenyan hands into Diageo. So you know, our people are the ones who have sold us out to the colonial forces. So and now he's been the one who, as the chairman of EABL, now worked on policies and the media to project illicit brews. These are Chang'aa, Moratina, things we drink every day, and competing companies. He oversaw their demolition by, you know, the media, the provincial administration. Our economic crisis has been instigated by our own people. So he said she had no authority to even claim that she was a dissident at any time, because the only reason why she moved from Kenya was to go and take up a job in Zimbabwe. She was working as, I don't know whether it was chief of staff of Robert Mugabe, you know, together with being his clandestina. These are important details that we didn't know. It's unfortunate that he's writing when she has passed away. I don't know what's happening with our intellectuals. Could have written when she was still alive, so that she can defend, but he says that, by that time, Kenya did not have the constitution, the new constitution, which allows for dual citizenship, and thus she had to renounce her Kenyan citizenship and to be a Zimbabwean. Before now, I think she went to the States and blah, blah, blah. These are fascinating things to read. There's also another document which I read, it's a collective from, I think, articles from the Library of Congress, which are derived from decommissioned or declassified documents from the Freedom of Information Act. And it said that the leading writers of that time, especially the boomer generation, the leading intellectuals, they mentioned of Chinua Achebe, Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who was also at an ideological crosspaths and crosshairs with Professor Michelle Mogo, that they were all funded by the CIA. But the CIA did not make public that they are the ones who are funding. They were using proxies, but ultimately the money was coming from CIA, and they were using it to shape the thinking of Africans as regards to the Cold War, capitalism, communism, blah, blah, blah. So everything that you know now probably has come from those channels. You are breastfeeding on CIA propaganda.